Hello, everyone. This is our Amazon S3 series. We are going to start with introduction of Amazon S3. So without wasting time, let's deep dive in. So Amazon S3 is one of the crucial services of AWS. So that provides fully managed object storage, high availability and scalability. Along with it comes with global service with region-specific data residency. And this service is basically ideal for backup, archival of your data, and data lakes. So let's move on. So, how this service or S3 is fully managed object storage? Let's talk about it. So, what do we understand about the fully managed object storage? So, this statement means that, everything which is hosting this service like storage, network, data centers, or anything and everything that is managed by Amazon itself. Even the underlying hardware, if it requires any sort of patching, that is also managed by Amazon. So, as a cloud user or as an end user, you don't have to manage anything like servers, networks, storage, anything. You don't have to manage anything. All you need to do just consume this service and dump your data out there. So as I said that it's an object storage, right? So it's an object storage. So what it does, it actually contains the data within, right? So you can just put the data within the object storage, that is S3. You can create the buckets and put the data inside it. So that data basically contains, your actual data, which could be your, text file, Excel file, or it could be your video, audio, or anything. And along with that, it will have a metadata, which is actually your, tags that are coming in. And add some of the attributes like who has uploaded that data, right? And what sort of data that is. And along with that, the unique key in the bucket, which is the unique name of the bucket, right? So that's how uh, the object-based storage model works within the object storage. It also supports automatic scaling and redundancy. So if I say automatic scaling and redundancy, so what does that mean? Automatic scaling means that, like if your business grows or if your data size grows, you do not need to get to the cloud provider or any provider to get the storage exceeded or extended. It scales automatically. As in when you start dumping your data and like, no matter what is the data size, it scales automatically. You don't need to get to Amazon support site or support center or call centers to place the request to increase the storage size. And what is redundancy? Redundancy means that, it is keeping your data in multiple availability zones so that if any of the availability zone is disturbed or it is down for any reason, any catastrophe, natural disasters or any power outage or anything. So still you have your data remains in remaining surviving availability zones. Built-in security and compliances. So Amazon, S3 buckets, they support a lot of what we call security frameworks, compliances, that is PCI, FedRAMP, NIST, ITAR, lot of, right? It supports them. How it supports it? It supports using like encryption and zero access, zero trust, right? Zero trust, it is tightly integrated with AWS identity and access management, wherein you can manage who would have what access to that AWS S3, right? Who can run the get command, who can run the put command, who can get the data, who can put the data, who can modify the data. So that all can be controlled using identity and access management. And in the same time, KMS, like key management servers. So what you can do, you can bring your own keys or you can let Amazon manage your keys to encrypt your data. So be it in transit or be it in rest. Right? So let's move on. Automate and API fast. So automation, like it can be easily managed with various SDKs that are available in the market, and then in the same time you can use like Postman to have REST APIs called triggered from your local machine, and to have put the data or get the data. And at the same time, AWS CLI is also there, and Python. Let me point here, Boto 3. It's one of the Python SDKs or Python module which supports this, right? And it is also highly automable using CI/CD pipelines. So your data pipelines, your backup pipelines can be automated using CI/CD pipelines. Integrated management features. So AWS S3 buckets are also coming up with lifecycle policies, replication, analytics, notification, and access points are built in. So you don't need to do extra setup for that. All you need to do just a small configuration for that. So if I say lifecycle policies, let's say you have a data which is frequently accessed, and which is frequently accessed for, let's say, for 10 days, and after 10 days nobody is going to access that. So there is no point for putting such data in a frequently accessed tier. You can put that data in a non-frequent or infrequent access tier. So this is how you can reduce the cost, right? Because simple tier or standard tier, which keeps the frequent access data, is highly costlier than the infrequent access tier. So these are the lifecycle policies that we can see in our subsequent videos. And similarly, replication analytics, like CloudTrail, how the AWS is logging everything, every REST API call uh, that is being made to the S3 bucket. Everything is being tracked using CloudTrail and all. All right, so let's move on. So AWS S3 also supports, also come with high availability and scalability. So multi-AZ durability. So there is a bit of confusion between high availability, or I would say availability, and the durability. So let's talk about the durability. So what is durability? Durability and availability, these are the two terms that Amazon uses very frequently. So durability is basically about how durable your data is, how safe your data is. So that is the durability, right? So Amazon provides 11 nines for durability. So that's where it says that like 99 point like 11 nines of durability that we get if we use 3 plus availability zones within a region. Let's say if you put your data in, for example, Virginia region. So it has got, I think, 6 regions. So if you place your data or if you keep your data in 3 plus availability zones, so Amazon assures that you will have your data consistency or your data health up to date, right? So that's the durability. And what is availability? Availability is like accessibility of your data, how frequently you can access the data. That's the availability, right? Your data is available, that means you can access it. But if your data is healthy, that does not ensures that you can access it. Probably some network outage or some power outage is there. So this is why you are not able to access the data. But availability ensures that your all the aspects, network, everything is in place. Auto scaling architecture, it supports auto scaling. As I mentioned in our very first slide, it supports auto scaling, as in when you put the data, your business grows and you need to dump more data. So you don't need to go to any of the cloud provider or any of the vendor to request for extension of the storage, underlying storage. It scales automatically, right? Parallel multi-part uploads. It also supports multi-part uploads. So let's say if you have a file, let's say of 10 GB or 20 GB, or let's say 1 TB file. So what would happen if you would upload the entire file together, right? And in between of that uploading process, your network outage, or you lost your network. So this entire process would be restarted, right? So just to overcome this challenge, what Amazon does, it supports multi-part. It would break that whole chunk of 1 TB into small pieces, right? And then it would start parallel uploads of all those small chunks. And once all the chunks are uploaded, then it would assemble them. And all this process would happen at the back end. The user or company, the organization would not have the idea of how is it being done. It's all being done by the Amazon in the backend, right? So even if the let's say you broken down the file into four pieces, right? Four pieces or five pieces, and three pieces have been uploaded, and when the fifth or fourth pieces were in turn, then you lost the network. So once the network will be back, Amazon would not start from the beginning, start from the scratch. It would not. It would only upload the part that was pending there, right? So that's how this multi-part upload help us to upload the data in the S3 bucket. Global distribution system, global endpoint access with intelligent request routing. So that means you have a single namespace. It can be accessed via anywhere across the globe as long as you have internet connectivity. You can access your data from anywhere, right? Support high concurrency without performance degradation. So Amazon also support, I have an endpoint. So it's not like that at a single given point in time, certain user can access that endpoint, right? It's like n number of users can use the same endpoint to access the data. So it supports high concurrency, failover, and self-healing infrastructure. As we mentioned, if we keep the data across availability zones, right? So as we have, let's say I have three availability zones, and I keep my data on all three availability zones. So in case my one AZ down, right? One AZ is down. So S3 will ensure that, none of the requests would route it to the faulty availability zone, right? It would automatically would be routed to the healthy availability zones. Correct. So that's how this high availability and scalability works in S3. And now, as in our very first slide, we discussed about S3 is a global service as well as a regional service. So how it is? So global service. So as we mentioned, S3 is a global service, which what it says, it is saying that you have a single name, globally unique name, right? It can be accessed from anywhere in the world, right? All IAM, CloudTrail, and organizational level policies can be applicable at the global level, not the regional level. Billing and everything will be all in the global level. And multi-region compliance. It also support like multi-region compliance, that HIPAA compliance or GDPR compliance. It supports that. And regional, your data, the data in this figure, you see the S3 global service, and then you have when the user comes in, user interacts with the S3 global service, and then it routed to the regional buckets. So your data is sitting inside the regions, right? So that's how it is. So, and yeah, in the same time, it also gives you regional endpoints. So data can be accessed via two endpoints, global endpoints as well as with the regional endpoints. Whereas in case of regional endpoints, the latency would be lower in case of regional endpoints. And your lifecycle rules, replications, that these all sort of rules are regional bound, regional based. Data transfer and storage cost varies by region. Used for data residency and performance within the region, you have a good performance, right? So let's move on to the another slide. So why AWS S3 is ideal for backup, archiving, and data lakes. So backup is something that we use at the time of any sort of when we lose the data, or any virus impact or any catastrophe happens. So that's where we use the data. So if we put the data in a let's say in SSD storage, it will have a higher cost, right? So that would impact the business, right? I mean business in terms of financially, right? You will have to pay more if you put the data in SSD bucket, SSD storage, right? So like you can put the versioning on your S3 bucket that will help you to uh, create the lifecycle rules, right? Which will uh, eventually move the older backups to the lower cost tiers. Cross-region replication, it enables disaster recovery strategies, right? You have, let's say, your business is running on AP South 1, and some disaster happen, and you don't have any data, like in that region, some disaster happens. So what will happen? Let's say the entire region is goes down and the entire region is down. So in that case, we should have some data in some another region so that my business can run. So in that case, it also supports cross-region replication. So if my one region goes down, I can replicate my data to the another region. Like it could be Singapore region, it could be some other region, right? Some other nearby region. All right. So that's how I can achieve disaster recovery. High durability, as we mentioned, 11 nines. It supports. It ensure that your data, your backups are safe. Archiving. So there are services which says Glacier deep archival. So these are very these are the lowest cost services that AWS offers in terms of storage. All right, and immutable storage with S3 object lock. Right, it locks the storage, like nobody can change anything into the storage. It is like warm compliance that supports write once, read many. It is like written only once. Once I have written the data, logged it, then nobody can access, like nobody can rewrite that data. It can be read by the users, but it cannot be rewritten. Then you have long-term retention. So companies comes up with, or there are a lot of government policies or government regulations which says that you have to keep the data for, let's say, for 5 years, 10 years. So if we put the data in such type of storage like Glacier or a deep Glacier, so that's where we have to pay lesser amount, and the management and everything is being done by the cloud provider, right? That's how it helps us to archiving in or archivals of our data. Data lakes, scalable architecture. It stores, like it grows automatically. It stores petabyte of structured and unstructured data. It can easily integrate with with AWS native tools like Athena, Glue, Redshifts, and also using AWS identity and access management policies. You can control it. You can put some sort of resource-based policies to fine-grained access control of your data. So that is what we have in this video. So we would be coming up with the hands-on of this video very soon. So stay tuned and wait for the next video. Thank you.